Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going right into the story of OpenAI. You sent over a pretty comprehensive Wikipedia entry, and our job is to pull out the crucial stuff, the surprising turns, and maybe the real drivers behind this really influential organization.
Exactly.
Think of this as your fast track to understanding what OpenAI is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be exploring their history, relying, entirely on the details from that OpenAI Wikipedia page.
Right.
Our aim is to give you a clear and interesting picture of how OpenAI has grown. From its initial big ideas to where it stands now, a major player in AI. And we'll try to do it without getting bogged down in too much technical jargon.
Good. We want to highlight what's truly significant.
That's the plan.
Okay, so let's jump right in at the beginning. December 2015, it sounds like a meeting of some serious minds in tech. We're talking Sam Altman, Elon Musk, Ilya Sutskever, Greg Brockman. Quite a group.
A real powerhouse group, yeah. And what's fascinating right from the start is the initial promise of funding a massive $1 billion. That really shows the scale of their ambition.
$1 billion, wow.
But here's the thing. It's important to understand that by 2019, the actual amount they collected was, considerably less, around $130 million.
Oh, okay. That's quite a difference.
It is. Early supporters included Musk, Reid Hoffman, Peter Thiel, even Amazon Web Services. But this significant shortfall early on likely forced a reevaluation, of their operational scale and maybe their long-term funding model.
Perhaps foreshadowing the eventual shift to for-profit.
Could well be, yeah.
Right, so even at the beginning, things weren't quite as straightforward as that billion-dollar promise. But the main goal, the big idea behind it all, was pretty clear. Make sure artificial general intelligence AGI benefits everyone.
Exactly, and they defined AGI as highly autonomous systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work. That's a huge ambition.
It really is.
And it definitely shaped how they started out. They put a big focus on hiring the best AI researchers they could find.
Right, but isn't that talent incredibly expensive? I heard comparisons to, NFL quarterback.
That's what Microsoft's Peter Lee said. The cost can be comparable. So attracting that level of talent to a nonprofit meant the mission itself had to be a major draw.
The mission itself had to pull them in.
And by all accounts, it did. Many researchers were apparently willing to choose OpenAI over potentially higher salaries at places like Google or Facebook because they genuinely believed in what OpenAI was trying to achieve.
Interesting. And they didn't just, sit around talking. They got down to work on some key projects pretty quickly. One that really stands out is OpenAI Gym, released April 2016. What was the thinking there?
OpenAI Gym was really important. It was for the field of reinforcement learning.
Okay, that's where AI agents learn through trial and error.
Exactly. Gym provided a standardized set of shifts. You can think of them as virtual training grounds, digital environments with specific challenges. So researchers could test their AI's learning progress using the exact same conditions.
Standardization makes sense for comparing results reliably.
Crucial for making the field more scientific, yeah. Its development later moved to Gymnasium in 2022, but the initial impact of Gym was really significant.
They also got a serious piece of hardware early on, didn't they? NVIDIA gifted them their first DGX-1 supercomputer in August 2016.
Yeah.
That must have really sped things up.
Oh, absolutely. That kind of computing power. It dramatically reduced the time it took to train complex AI models.
Yeah.
We're talking processing that might have taken days, now happening in just hours.
Wow.
Then, in December 2016, they launched Universe, another ambitious project. This is a software platform designed to train general intelligence across a huge range of existing games applications.
The idea being an AI that could learn in all sorts of digital settings.
That was the goal. Adaptability.
It sounds like they were really pushing the limits right from the start. But all that computing power and top-tier talent, that can't be cheap.
That's a critical point,
Yeah.
In 2017 alone, OpenAI spent a staggering $7.9 million just on cloud computing.
$7.9 million, just on cloud.
Yep. That was a quarter of their total operating expenses. And just to give you some context, DeepMind's total expenses in the same year were $442 million.
Whoa. Okay.
Even just training their Dota 2 bots back in the summer of 2018 required renting huge amounts of computing resources from Google, like 128,000 CPUs and 256 GPUs for weeks on end.
The scale is just immense.
It really is. And these staggering expenses, maybe coupled with different visions for the future, could have contributed to some significant leadership changes around them.
And one of those big changes was Elon Musk resigning from the board in 2018. That felt like a pretty big moment.
It definitely was. The official reason given was a potential future conflict of interest with Tesla's AI development for self-driving cars.
Right, makes sense.
But Sam Altman later suggested that Musk actually felt OpenAI was falling behind and proposed taking over the organization himself, which the board declined.
Oh, interesting. So maybe more to it than just the conflict of interest.
Seems likely, yeah. His departure seems to have been driven by a bit more than just that potential conflict.
Then, in early 2019, we saw the announcement of GPT-2. That really started to get OpenAI noticed by a wider audience, didn't it? Though maybe for some concerning reasons initially.
Exactly. GPT-2 was this language model that could generate incredibly human-like text. Its capabilities were so advanced, actually, that OpenAI initially decided to release only limited demo versions.
Why? Because they were worried about misuse?
Precisely. Particularly things like generating fake news. So a key insight here is that even early on, OpenAI was grappling with this double-edged sword of powerful AI, its potential, versus the risks.
And that forced them into some tough decisions about controlling the information.
Unprecedented decisions, really. It marked a real shift in their strategy regarding how openly they'd share their tech.
Which brings us neatly to 2019, a really pivotal year when OpenAI made that major structural change, moving from purely nonprofit to a capped for-profit model. What was driving that?
Well, the main reason was the need to attract significant investment and also, crucially, to be able to offer equity to employees.
Competing for talent, right, with Google, Facebook, places offering stock options.
Exactly. They were in a tough spot competing for those top AI researchers. The capped for-profit structure, where profits are limited to 100 times the initial investment, was designed to address this while, in theory, still staying true to their original mission.
And this transition happened alongside a major partnership and a big financial boost.
Yes, they formed a partnership with Microsoft, announcing a $1 billion investment package.
$1 billion again.
Yeah, and this time it seemed more concrete. As part of this, OpenAI systems started to run on Microsoft's Azure cloud platform. The plan was also to commercially license their technologies. Altman even mentioned that, $1 billion might not even be enough in the long run to achieve AGI. They might need unprecedented levels of capital.
Wow. But this move definitely had its critics, right? Some people questioned if a for-profit model was really necessary or even aligned with OpenAI's original goals.
Oh, definitely. Oren Etzioni from the Allen Institute for AI was a notable voice raising concerns.
What was his argument?
Well, while he recognized the difficulties a nonprofit might face attracting talent, he argued that nonprofits could still be very competitive and innovative. He pointed to examples of successful projects done on limited budgets, basically questioning if just throwing more money at it always leads to better results. And there were also arguments made that switching to for-profit was kind of at odds with OpenAI's stated goal of, making AI accessible to everyone, democratizing it.
That's an interesting point. So even as a for-profit, there were supposed to be measures in place to protect the original mission, safeguards.
That's right. The original nonprofit, OpenAI Inc., remained in control as the sole shareholder of the new entity, OpenAI Global LLC.
Okay.
This structure was intended to ensure a formal responsibility back to the nonprofit's core principles. Plus, most of the nonprofit's board members were prevented from having financial stakes in the for-profit arm.
To avoid conflicts of interest.
Exactly. And those few who did have stakes were restricted from voting on certain issues.
Okay, let's move forward then. The period between 2020 and 2023, this is when we start seeing some really groundbreaking products emerge. And that relationship with Microsoft seems to deepen. OpenAI really starts to enter the public consciousness.
Absolutely. In 2020, GPT-3 was announced, a massive language model trained on just an enormous amount of internet data.
Its abilities were a huge step up, right? Answering questions, translation, generating text.
A huge step forward, yeah.
Right.
And they launched the API associated with it, which became the foundation for their first commercial products. It's also interesting that around this time, a significant group of employees actually left to establish Anthropic.
Oh, yeah, Anthropic, another major player now.
Right. Then came 2021, the year of DALL-E. That really amazed people, creating images just from text descriptions.
That felt like magic to a lot of folks.
It was truly remarkable. Built on the GPT-3 architecture, it showed AI could understand and translate text instructions into complex digital images. A major leap in generative AI, moving beyond just text.
But arguably the biggest impact came in November 2022 with the launch of ChatGPT. That felt like a real turning point. It brought AI into mainstream use like nothing before.
Oh, completely. ChatGPT, based on the GPT 3.5 architecture, saw just incredible growth. Over 100 million users within just 2 months.
Fastest growing consumer app ever, wasn't it? At the time.
At the time, yes. The free preview generated massive media attention, over 1 million signups in the first 5 days. Projections even suggested a really rapid increase in revenue for OpenAI Global in the coming years. What do you think it was about ChatGPT specifically that just captured the public imagination so strongly?
I think it was the accessibility, the conversational nature. It felt like you could just talk to it. And Microsoft really doubled down during this period, didn't they? Increased their investment significantly.
They really did. In January 2023, Microsoft announced a further multi-year investment of $10 billion.
$10 billion.
Valuing OpenAI at a staggering $29 billion. There were reports suggesting a potential profit-sharing deal, a significant stake acquisition for Microsoft. This investment really fueled Microsoft's efforts to weave OpenAI's tech into their own products. Bing, Edge, Microsoft 365.
Which definitely put pressure on Google, right? Prompting them to launch Bard.
Exactly. It highlighted that intense competition, especially in search.
And there were also some board changes around this time. Reid Hoffman stepped down.
Yes, in March 2023. He cited potential conflicts of interest with his AI investments through Greylock Partners and his role at Inflection AI. Though he stayed on Microsoft's board, which just shows the complex web of relationships in the AI world.
Definitely complex. And OpenAI kept pushing the tech forward with GPT-4 in March 2023. What were the key improvements there?
GPT-4 was another significant leap. It could accept both text and image inputs.
Multimodal, yeah.
It showed improved performance on various benchmarks, like it did much better than GPT 3.5 on a simulated law school bar exam, and it had a much larger context window.
Which means it can remember more of the conversation or document.
Essentially, yes. Leading to more coherent, nuanced outputs, especially for longer, more complex tasks.
Interestingly, around the same time, key figures at OpenAI, Altman, Brockman, Sutskever, started publicly talking about governing superintelligence, the potential risks.
Indeed. In May 2023, they published recommendations. They suggested superintelligence might be closer than many think, and advocated for creating an international oversight body, maybe like the IAEA for nuclear tech, to oversee highly capable AI systems.
Wow, like an IAEA for AI.
That was the comparison they drew. They also called for more research into AI safety, specifically superintelligence safety. This led directly to launching the Super Alignment Project in July 2023.
Aimed at ensuring future super AIs align with human values.
That's the stated goal.
We also saw OpenAI making strategic acquisitions like Global Illumination in August 2023. What was that about?
Yeah, Global Illumination was a startup focused on using AI for digital infrastructure and creative tools. So that acquisition likely aimed to boost OpenAI's capabilities in those areas. Around then, Microsoft also started rebranding its AI products under the Copilot name, further embedding OpenAI tech.
And they partnered with G42 in the UAE, too.
Right, in October 2023, a partnership to deploy their technology there.
Then, towards the end of 2023, they launched GPTs, letting users create custom versions of ChatGPT. That seemed like another step towards making AI more accessible, more tailored.
Exactly. GPTs allowed for creating tailored AI assistants for very specific purposes. Yeah. It really showed the potential for AI customization across tons of industries. The demand was so high, actually, they had to temporarily pause new signups for ChatGPT+.
Just couldn't keep up. Wow. Okay, moving into 2024. We see OpenAI expanding its reach into public sectors, nonprofits, unveiling even more advanced models, and forming significant new partnerships.
2024 was definitely a busy year. In January, they partnered with Arizona State University, their first big educational collaboration, providing access to ChatGPT Enterprise.
Bringing it into universities?
Yeah. Then February saw the unveiling of Sora, their text-to-video model. Generated a lot of excitement.
Looked incredible, but it wasn't widely released initially.
No, just to red teams for safety testing at first. That responsible rollout approach again.
And the ongoing legal saga with Elon Musk continued.
Oh, yes. Musk filed that lawsuit in February 2024, accusing OpenAI of shifting focus from public benefit to profit maximization.
Which OpenAI disputed.
Strongly disputed it. He later revived the legal action in August 2024. So that really underscores this ongoing debate about OpenAI's core mission and direction.
There were also some pretty significant leadership changes within OpenAI in May 2024, weren't there?
Very significant. Chief scientist Ilya Sutskever resigned, replaced by Jokub Pachoki. And Jan Leik, a co-leader in safety efforts, also left, citing concerns about safety and trust.
Key safety people leaving. That must have raised some eyebrows.
It definitely did within the AI community, yeah.
Despite these internal shifts, though, OpenAI kept forging external partnerships, especially around content. What was the strategy there?
Well, what we see in 2024 is a clear strategy to integrate their tech into existing content ecosystems, both to train their models on high-quality data and to distribute their AI capabilities through established platforms.
Makes sense. So partnerships with Reddit, News Corp?
Exactly. Reddit for content integration, deals with major news orgs like News Corp, licensing agreements with Axios, Vox Media.
Getting access to that valuable content.
And perhaps trying to address some of the copyright concerns, too.
And maybe the biggest partnership of 2024, Apple June. Integrating ChatGPT into Apple Intelligence and iPhones, that's a massive reach.
Huge potential user base. It brings OpenAI's tech directly to millions, potentially billions. Around the same time, they added former NSA head Paul Nakasone to their board.
Interesting move.
And acquired Multi, a remote collaboration startup. July saw reports of Project Strawberry, aimed at enhancing AI reasoning, making it think more logically.
Which became the O1 model later.
That's right, released as the O1 model in September, focused on that logical reasoning aspect.
The latter half of 2024 continued to be eventful. More leadership changes, big funding.
Yeah, co-founder John Schulman left for Anthropic. President Greg Brockman took an extended leave. CTO Mira Murati also announced her departure later in the year.
Quite a bit of churn at the top.
It seems so. But then October brought a massive $6.6 billion funding round, valuing OpenAI at $157 billion.
Oh, $157 billion.
Huge investments from Microsoft, NVIDIA, SoftBank. They also snapped up the domain chat.com, and Greg Brockman returned from his leave.
Okay, so Brockman's back.
And the year finished with the 12 days of OpenAI in December, launching Sora for paid users, the advanced O1 reasoning model, a new ChatGPT Pro tier, and showing off preliminary results for the upcoming O3 models.
A busy end to a busy year, which brings us to 2025, which has already seen some pretty dramatic developments, especially competition and infrastructure.
2025 certainly started with a bang.
Right.
In January, the Chinese company DeepSeek released their DeepSeek R1 model.
And that made waves.
Big waves. It reportedly rivaled OpenAI's O1 in performance, was open weight, meaning its parameters were public, and it was trained for significantly less cost, maybe around $5.6 million.
Wow. That must have shaken things up. Impact on NVIDIA, too.
Reports suggested significant investor concern, yeah. And a historic single-day market cap loss for NVIDIA. It really felt like a seismic shift in the competitive landscape.
A huge development. And then came the announcement of the Stargate project. Just a colossal undertaking, $500 billion. It's almost hard to wrap your head around that number. What does that kind of investment signal?
The Stargate project, announced January 2025, is indeed massive. An AI infrastructure joint venture. OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank, MGX, even the U.S. government involved.
$500 billion over 4 years.
Estimated, yes. To build this cutting-edge AI infrastructure system, borrowing the name from OpenAI's existing supercomputer project, this level of investment just underscores the anticipated future importance and the resource demands of advanced AI. It's staggering.
Truly is. We also saw new AI agent capabilities launch early in 2025. Operator.
Yes, January saw the release of Operator, an AI agent designed for automating web tasks, initially for U.S. Pro users. Then in February, a deep research agent using their O3 model for advanced web browsing and analysis.
But that was expensive initially, $200 a month.
That was the initial high-tier subscription, yes, though they later released a more limited version for free users in April.
OpenAI also got a new look in February 2025, a rebranding.
They did. A new visual identity typeface, wordmark, symbol, color palette, maybe signaling a new phase, a more mature, widely recognized entity.
And they announced a collaboration with Broadcom for custom AI chips and to reduce dependence on NVIDIA.
Exactly. Aiming for mass production in 2026. It's a strategic move to control costs, potentially optimize performance for their specific needs.
And Sam Altman gave some hints about the future of their models. GPT 4.5, GPT-5.
Yeah, Altman indicated GPT 4.5, codenamed Orion, would be the last model without full chain-of-thought reasoning.
That's the technique where the AI shows its work.
Right. Helps arrive at more reliable conclusions. He also hinted at potentially unifying their O series, the reasoning models, and the GPT series general language with the anticipated GPT-5.
Interesting. The infrastructure build-out continued, too, with a huge deal with CoreWeave in March 2025.
Massive deal. $11.9 billion agreement with CoreWeave, an AI cloud provider backed by NVIDIA. It involved a share swap, gives OpenAI access to a huge amount of NVIDIA GPUs, really solidifying their computing resources for future models.
They just keep needing more and more power.
Seems that way.
And then another massive funding round in April 2025, along with hitting back at Elon Musk legally.
Yep, April 2025.
Yeah.
Raised a staggering $40 billion at a $300 billion post-money valuation.
$300 billion, largest private tech deal ever.
On record, yes. Major players like SoftBank, Microsoft involved again, continued investor confidence clearly, and at the same time, OpenAI filed a countersuit against Musk, alleging bad faith tactics, claiming he'd previously supported the for-profit structure and even tried to gain control himself.
Wow. The drama continues. Okay, it's been quite a journey, packed into a relatively short time. Now let's just take a moment to appreciate the sheer variety of products and applications OpenAI has developed. It's way more than just the big language models we hear about most.
That's absolutely right. Their early work in reinforcement learning was foundational. Projects like OpenAI Gym, Gym Retro for video games, RoboSumo.
OpenAI 5 playing Dota 2, Dactyl, the robot hand.
Exactly. All pushing the boundaries of learning through interaction. And then, of course, there's their general purpose API. That gives access to their whole diverse range of models for countless applications.
And just in text generation alone, we've seen this incredible progression from GPT-1 all the way up to GPT-4o, GPT-4.5, GPT-4.1, plus the specialized O1 and O3 reasoning models.
The increasing capabilities, the sheer scale of these models, the parameters involved is quite remarkable. And the O-series models, like O1 and O3, they're specifically engineered for better reasoning, tackling complex tasks with higher accuracy compared to the general GPT models.
We also can't skip their work in image and video, CLIP, the DALL-E series, and now Sora.
Right, CLIP for image classification. DALL-E showing that rapid advancement in text-to-image, getting more realistic, understanding prompts better. And Sora generating video from text. That got attention from people like Tyler Perry, highlighting its potential impact on creative industries.
Big potential impact. They've even dabbled in speech and music with Whisper MuseNet Jukebox, though maybe more experimental.
Seems that way, yeah. Whisper for multilingual speech-to-text is quite capable. MuseNet and Jukebox were more explorations into AI's creative side in music, though maybe with acknowledged limits. And then there's their work on user interfaces, from research tools like DebateGame and Microscope for Understanding Models.
To the ubiquitous ChatGPT with all its tiers and features, image input, voice, and even that prototype search engine, SearchGPT.
Right, a huge range of interfaces and applications.
And we have to mention the Stargate project again, and their other supercomputing efforts. It just underscores the massive infrastructure needed to keep pushing AI forward.
Stargate, with its planned enormous scale and power demands, truly highlights the resource-intensive nature of cutting-edge AI development. It's on another level.
Thinking back to the very beginning, what were the initial drivers? The core strategy behind creating OpenAI? It wasn't just about building cool tech, was it?
No, definitely not. The initial motivations were deeply tied to concerns about existential risk from advanced AI. Concerns voiced by people like Stephen Hawking, Elon Musk.
Right, the safety angle.
Exactly. Musk and Altman specifically emphasized AI safety as a primary goal, recognizing the immense potential for both good and harm. Their early strategy of democratizing AI by making it broadly accessible was actually quite controversial.
Yeah, some experts worried about misuse if it was too open.
Precisely. And we've seen a definite evolution in their approach to openness over time. Remember the initial decision to withhold the full release of GPT-2?
Good point. That showed a shift early on.
And underpinning all of this, supposedly, has been a consistent focus on AI alignment research, trying to ensure that as AI gets more powerful, its goals stay aligned with human values.
And more recently, we've seen a notable shift, or maybe clarification, in their public stance on collaborating with China. Altman expressing interest despite U.S. regulations.
Yes, Altman's recent statements seem to reflect a recognition of the growing influence of Chinese AI companies, like DeepSeek, and the increasing trend of open-source strategies in the Chinese tech sector.
So acknowledging the global reality of AI development.
Seems like it. It suggests a potentially shifting global landscape for AI development and collaboration, even amidst all the geopolitical tensions.
Okay, so as we bring this deep dive to a close, what are the main takeaways from this really fascinating journey of OpenAI?
Well, OpenAI's story is truly remarkable, isn't it? It's a tale of just incredibly rapid evolution from a nonprofit with these grand, ambitious goals to a leading, maybe the leading force in the rapidly transforming world of AI.
We've seen the groundbreaking innovations, definitely.
Groundbreaking innovations, significant strategic shifts in their structure, their approach, and they've navigated some pretty significant controversies and events along the way. There's just no doubt the company's impact on technology, on society, is profound.
And its future path seems tied to that ongoing pursuit of AGI and all the ethical questions that come with it.
Absolutely. That pursuit and those critical ethical considerations will shape everything.
That leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Given OpenAI's immense growth and influence, I mean, just look at those recent massive funding rounds, the Stargate project. How do you think their original mission, the one about benefiting all of humanity, can best be upheld? Especially as they increasingly operate as this giant for-profit entity in a fiercely competitive global market. What responsibilities do organizations of this scale actually bear in shaping the future of AI development and how it gets deployed?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It definitely is. Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.